Welcome back to Two Long Blocks. Today's day 2 in Warsaw. Let's unravel more about what makes Warsaw truly a remarkable city and all of the things that it has to offer. Welcome to Two Long Blocks. This channel is dedicated to those who have a passion for traveling the world but might face mobility challenges. Hi, I'm Bob, and I have multiple sclerosis. Join my wife, Gina, and I as we travel to amazing places. We aim to inform, inspire, and empower everyone to venture forth and make unforgettable memories. The next morning, we headed out to see Pilsudski Square. Pilsudski Square is a very large open square, and it's almost stark, aside from a few memorials and markers, and this causes one to be contemplative. At the west side, going into the Saxon Garden, you will see a small columned building. This is the Polish tomb of the unknown soldier. We were lucky enough to see a wreath laying at the tomb by a German diplomat. This was very moving, especially for those of us who have been in the military. There is a shared experience of being in the military that transcends culture and language, and for that we all hold a respect for each other that evades simple explanation. The ceremony ends with the playing of Śpisz Kolego. This is the Polish bugle tribute to their fallen soldiers. It is similar to taps in the U.S. In the last lyrics of Śpisz Kolego, sleep, my friend, because in war only in the grave is peace. Sleep, my friend, in a dark grave. Let Poland dream of you. From the tomb, we took a moment to reflect and rest near the fountain at Saxon Garden. This fountain was established in 1855, and it is a grand and beautiful centerpiece of the Saxon Garden. From the Saxon Garden, we headed to the Palace of Culture and Science. We caught a ride, but it's probably a walkable distance for some people. The walk from the road, where the car dropped us off, up to the palace was very uneven. As we approached from the east side, there was some construction going on when we were there. The road was rutted and unsteady. The Palace of Culture and Science was a somewhat unwelcome gift from Joseph Stalin and the Soviet Union to Poland. For decades, it was the tallest building in Warsaw and in Poland. Dominating the skyline, it stood as an ever-present reminder that the all-powerful Moscow was always watching. And even today, there is much controversy over the building as a reminder of the communist domination over Poland until 1989. Once we got to the palace, there was an elevator leading up to the entrance. There are elevators that go to the observation floor. At the elevator, there was an attendant who moved us right to the front of the line when she saw me walking with my cane. Now, this was very common in Poland for those with a handicap to be given right of way, a seat on a metro line, or someone to hold a door for you. We have found this to be true in most places that we have traveled in Europe, more so even than in the United States. On the day we went in, it was a field trip day for school kids, and it was packed. Once you're on the observation area tower of the Palace of Culture and Science, there's a commanding view of Warsaw, and they are amazing. In each of the directions that you can observe from the top of the tower, you can see the history of Warsaw. In the east is the Vistula River and Old Town. To the north are the block buildings and unordained architecture, more reminiscent of the era of communism. And to the south, the sprawl of residential areas of a large metropolis. To the west are high rises representing the new affluence of Warsaw. Downstairs at the Palace of Culture and Science, there was an exhibit for Leonardo da Vinci. This consisted of many life-size models of his mechanical inventions and a separate space for a multi-sensory exhibition. We found similarities to the Van Gogh immersive experience here in the US, if you've had a chance or opportunity to see that. After a meal at a milk bar, see the definition of a milk bar below, we headed to the Museum of Life in the People's Republic of Poland, or PRL, also called the Museum of Life Under Communism. This is a very informative exhibit about life in the PRL. It summarizes life through the Cold War in Warsaw. There were exhibits of living spaces and examples of different types of propaganda that lasted from the end of World War II until the Solidarity movement and Lech Walensa's impact on Polish politics in the late 1980s. Lech Walesa was an electrician at the Gdansk shipyards, Solidarity leader, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and eventually the President of Poland. In 1989, the political movement he brought forward ended communist rule in Poland. Now, there are stairs that must be navigated to get into the museum, and also once inside this museum, there are 2 stories with stairs between the exhibit floors. If you can manage it, it's well worth seeing. From the Museum of Life in the PRL, it was a walk about 2 long blocks to stop and get refreshments at a place called H15. H15 is a boutique hotel, restaurant, and bar with a unique history. At one time in its history, it was acquired by the Soviet Union and eventually became the embassy for the USSR in Warsaw. After the war, it was taken over by the PRL, and finally, in 2007, the building was remodeled. There are hip designs and a modern flair, but if you look closely, the hammer and sickle of the Soviet Union can still be seen carved into the stone edifices. A reminder that even though it may be unpleasant, the Poles don't want to forget their past, and they always want to learn from their history. For dinner, we ate at a restaurant called The Alchemist. This was a great dinner spot with some very unique cocktails, an international selection of food, and there is an excellent outdoor seating area when the weather warms up. Their aioli is a step up. Try not to miss it. After dinner, it was a 400-meter, about a quarter of a mile walk back to the Bellado Hotel. Warsaw is an incredible city with an extraordinary past. We'll have one more day to explore the wonders of Warsaw. And remember, even if you have limitations in your mobility, you can do this. It's a big, beautiful world out there. Get out and explore it.